Hi BookTube, welcome to Jackie's Literary Corner. I am Jackie and it's time for 7 on Sunday, you guys. In case you don't remember, this is basically it's like Top 5 Wednesday. It's something that Grace from Jeez Whiz created. It's basically, as it says, your top 7 of something, and we do it every Sunday, and I keep forgetting to do them, or at least pre-film them, so at least the first 2 topics for September I'm going to pre-film today, so it's not actually, as I'm filming this, it's not actually September, but that doesn't matter. I really don't need to tell you that, because by the time I'm going to schedule these videos so they come on the right date. So the first topic of September is your biggest books on your TBR. So on the thumbnail, I don't show all of the books. I show at least 1, 2, 3, 4 of the books, and then there's like 3 more as well. I try to get all of them, but there's no way I could hold all of the books. Okay, so the first book is a Russian classic that most people probably will never read, but I like to challenge myself, and I have started this one, and I personally feel like, it's probably the translation, so maybe I owe it to the translator, but this is actually, I find Russian literature, like, so far, both Dostoevsky and Tolstoy are very easy to read. And then I did read a little bit of Master and Margarita, and that wasn't too bad either. So, I guess really I owe it to the translators. But I think the hard part, the challenging part, is how in Russian pronounce both. They have 2 names. They have like a first name and then a middle name. That's probably not what they are. First, the middle name, probably like a surname or something. But I kind of stumble on that. And then of course there are still some words like names and stuff that that are still in Russian, like things that are from that country that I guess you can't translate into English. I don't know, that I stumble on like certain words that I struggle with because I don't know the Russian pronunciation. So, but other than that, Russian literature, to me, it's not that hard to read. It's just going to be very long and depressing at times. And the one I'm talking about is War and Peace by Lev Tolstoy. I remember watching a video where someone said that, and she doesn't know why we pronounce it in America. They say Leo and not Liev. But in case you don't know, this is during Napoleonic War, probably the 100 Days, which is the same time period, I think, as the Count of Monte Cristo, but this is the Russian perspective, so it takes place during, a little bit before the war, during the war, and then I think after the war, and seeing how the boys come home and their struggles with with dealing with the war, and their coping with what happened in their lives, and so a lot of politics and marriage drama and all that good stuff. So I've read some, as you can see, I read some of it, but I probably would need to, I might need to start over, but I've read a good chunk of it. I'm up to page 388. So it's like, that's the struggle I have when it comes to big books. I'll start them and all of a sudden get distracted by one that won't take me as long to read, or another big book. And then I don't come back to that when I originally started for like several years. So, it's the question of do I start it over again, or do I just keep going? Like that's kind of what happened also with Way of Kings, which is on this list. So yeah, this is the first one. Oh, and this is about this particular edition is. Skip because I don't read all that part, like all the notes and stuff. Okay, we got the epilogue. Almost there. Okay, I guess 1,000. It is 1,300 and something pages. Just find the official last page. Okay, that's the note. Okay, so 1,358 pages. That's how many pages this edition is. And I think Stephen King books are longer than this one. So my biggest Stephen King books are a little bit longer, I think. Actually, no, I think Count of Monte Cristo is longer. I don't know. I'll have to double check on. I would have to double check on that. So the next one is one that I first started collecting this author's books when I first moved here. So I've had them for 4 years, and well, actually, 5 or 6 years. Like 5 or 6 years now. Like 2016. It's 2021, so 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2000. Yeah, 6. Okay, so 6 years. I've had this author's book for 6 years, and I've started reading some of them. I started reading 2 of them because they were both the start of a series. But then, I have not picked them up since. And my latest excuse was one of them I wanted to buy a regular-sized paperback copy of it. And I would like to start reading it this fall going into winter. Although I say that and then it won't happen, so knock on wood. Okay, and that is Pillars of the Earth. This is the, it has a preface by Ken Follett. That's the author, Ken Follett. There's a preface by, and it's the, what is it? Not the Century Trilogy. The Century Trilogy is the other one. The Kingsbridge Chronicles. This is the first book in that one, and the author recently published another book in the series called Column of Fire, which I do have that. So yeah, I've been meaning to skip back into reading this again, and this is one of the ones I'm choosing to start over. This is basically about the building of a cathedral. And I know from what people said, yes, it sounds boring at first, but once you get into it, you really just fall in love with the story. Those who love it. So there are. It's not actually. It's only it's not even in the thousands. It's like close to the thousands, but it's 973 pages. So yeah, so it's not even the thousands. And apparently it was an Oprah Book Club pick. Now I hope that Ken Follett did not pitch a fit about it being an Oprah Book Club pick, just like Jonathan Franzen did. That is the fact that. It's so bugsy because I feel guilty that I bought his book, but I bought it used. So even though he's a dick, he's not getting the money from me. It's a used copy, so. So next is number 3. The third book is actually by a booktuber. So in our little community here, I got her book in 2019, I think, was when I got this book for my birthday, either 19 or 20. And it's a series. I don't know how she's doing on the second book, so it's probably okay that I haven't, picked it up in a while. Hopefully she'll get the first book started soon, and even then, I probably won't buy it until it's turned into a paperback copy, unless it already becomes a paperback copy. Because I think it's independent. I don't know if it's independently published or she published it herself. But Peace and Turmoil is the first book in the Dark Shores series or trilogy. I don't know what it's going to be. It's about a group of people from different kingdoms, and there's someone from each of those kingdoms who must protect this magical object, and these objects cannot be brought together. Something along those lines. It's been a while, so. Although I think if you read this book, I hope that's an improvement compared to what I normally Normally I stumble when it's explaining books that I haven't picked up in a long time. So it's really, I have been meaning to get back into it for a while, and like a lot of the fantasies I've read, it's not hard to read. It's not like a classic. It's just, I get sidetracked by other books. But like I said, maybe it's not necessarily a bad thing because she had a tough time last year, not just with COVID, but other personal things in her life. I know. So she isn't, and then also probably COVID. So she has not started writing the next book, I don't think, or she has, maybe, or at least now she has, maybe. I don't know. I don't know her personally, so I don't know what's going on, except unless I, hear her talk about, unless she talks about it on her BookTube channel. Which, by the way, that's Elliot Brooks, in case you want to know. Yeah, so I need to pick this one up. Okay, so... Oh, and that is about, let's see, how many pages? I want to say it's in the 800s, too. Oh, actually, no, it's, 714. I thought it was in the 800s, but nope, it's only 714 pages. So, not bad. I mean, I have read 800-page books, but it will still take me a long time to read. Okay, and then next is one of it, this is, I think, a very popular book amongst the fans of this author, and that's Stephen King, and that's The Stand, which I bought this and started reading this a while back, but again, in this situation where I think I might start over with it, I feel, I feel very conflicted about that, because on the one hand, I feel like I should start over, but then on the other hand, well, I'll probably stop again and get sidetracked. I mean, and these are long books, so this is The Stand, and this is actually about not the pandemic, a virus that destroys half the population. So it's very timely to read it. I mean, unless you don't want to read it during that time, when dealing with that for real. The good news is we don't have anyone named, like, the bad guy in this one, the antagonist in the story. But we have the antagonist who's, I don't know if he's called Randall Flagg. I don't know if I think it's Randall Flagg in this one. Which, I think Randall Flagg is also the Man in Black. And I think he was first introduced into a Stephen King that I have not read, and I still am debating if I'm going to ever read it, because I do still have the book. It's in my donation pile. But I don't know if I'll ever read it. But I think he was first introduced the eyes of the dragon. I think that's when he first came into the story, into our Stephen King verse. But you have, so I think Randall Flagg is the bad guy in this one, is the antagonist. I'm not 100% sure on that. But, and then you have this woman who is a healer, and she is also gathering followers. She's also gaining followers as well. She's meant to protect them from the other guy. So, I remember liking it. It's just, with Stephen King, as much as I love him, I still kind of have to be in the right mood for a Stephen King novel. So I gotta pick up this one as well. And that is about, let's see, how many pages is this? This particular edition is 1,153 pages. So it's the same size as, I think, Pillars of the Earth, I think. Either Pillars of the Earth or War and Peace. I'm trying to think of which ones have that amount. We're close to that. Okay, next. Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. I know this is the one I was talking about where, like, I got pretty far into it. I got into the 600 pages, And then I was like, I feel like I need to start over with it, so I did, and I got up to chapter 29. I'm in the 500s now, so 563, page 563. I think I got through the first interlude. And I've been debating if I'm going to get the regular size paperback for this one. It's not at my bookstore. It's not my Books A Million. So, in the two used bookstores, one of them I know it's probably never going to be there. And then the other one, it could potentially be there, or it will but it's more likely that it would be this version of it, the mass market, if it was ever there. But I have been meaning to get back into this because I don't want to, I don't want what happened last time to happen again, where I get, where it's a long time before I pick this one up again. This is in Brandon Sanderson, his magnum opus, you could say. This is basically in a world where people have been abandoned by their gods, I think. And there's, the people have been, the upper class, the people who, the people who work for the king or whatever, they have been at war with these people called the Parshendi because they had assassinated the previous king, and his son has taken over, and he has been preparing his men to get revenge for him for years. And there's this power system where they harness this, they capture storms or something, and they use it to fight, I think, or they're collecting these stones that are in the eye of storms or something. You can see it's been a while. And it's a multi-perspective. This one I think focuses the most on let's see. I can't remember his name. Kaladin. It focuses on Kaladin, who was he was a surgeon in training, but then he wanted to be a soldier, and he finally has become a soldier, but now he's a slave, and he works on him and the other slaves work on they're the lowest of the low, and they work on the Shattered Plains, which is an area where the rock is like shifted and broken and stuff like that. And then you also have Dalinar, who is one of the knights that works for the king, and he is kind of gone through a midlife crisis where he used to be all badness and powerful, but he's learned from how he was not a nice person. He was kind of a bad person, so he's trying to be a better person and not be so much a warrior as just a good, loyal soldier. And he is starting to follow the teachings that his king became obsessed with. He's starting to also become obsessed with that as well, and everyone is kind of questioning him because he used to be this great, powerful, badass warrior, and now he's not, and they see him as weak. And then you have this girl, and then you have a perspective of this young woman who has been forced to, after her family was imprisoned, her parents were killed, I think, and so it's just her and her siblings, and she's forced to go and find answers and this weapon to protect her family, and so she decides to become an assistant to the king's sister, who is in another part of the world, and that's Shalon, and she's also a bit of an artist. And from what I remember, she also, like, in her drawings, without her having drawn it herself, she starts seeing things in the weird things. That's the last thing I remember before I restarted the book the second time. But yeah, so she starts seeing these weird. I remember her starting to see these weird things. So I think, like, again, another situation. I think that's an improvement. My description, still not a great description of what it's about, but I think it's an improvement. So yeah, so this is about. I'm not counting that because I probably won't read that part. Okay, so 1,252 pages. This one. Okay. And then we have. I decided to pick a nonfiction, and I don't know if this is connection to the movie. There's a movie this might be based on there's a movie that that was, like, I think there was a movie made based on this book, I think, or maybe not, I don't know, but 7 Pillars of Wisdom, A Triumph, by T.E. Lawrence, and this is about the author, and he went to the Middle East, in Arabia, to be more specific, and about his experiences there. So, this was where I got it, and I was like, I'm gonna try it. It's a little different. I mean, it does say universally known as Lawrence of Arabia, and there was the movie called Lawrence of Arabia, so I don't know if that's this, what that movie is based on. I'm not sure. I mean, I'm assuming so, but there's part of me that's like, I don't know, is it? But I did start it. I'm on chapter 3. And like I said, I really couldn't tell you what I read so far. Like I said, it's just this guy's experience, this real life guy's going to Arabia, and his experiences. I think he's English, in his time there. So, yeah, it's Middle Eastern studies. Yeah, I wonder if this is one of those books that you study in school, maybe in college. But yeah, so I can't really tell you a lot except for what I just told you. So, like, I'll probably have to restart again. And I think they're very far anyway, so I don't think the chapters are that long, so I think it will be okay. I don't know, maybe I'll save it for November. Just, like, don't start until November, because I want to read at least one nonfiction. Problem is, I'm very bad at, like, themed months, I've noticed. Like, I did good in, October last year and the year before, but this year I want to actually read some spooky books, or, like, Halloween vibe books mixed with October. But when it's, like, nonfiction November, that theme I'm really bad at, because I'm still not used to nonfiction. I mean, I've read some, but, I mean, like, especially the size, I still very much struggle with nonfiction, I mean, hopefully this won't be too bad, especially because I think it's going to be kind of, like, written like a story, like an actual novel, so, but it's true. It's based on truth. Something that actually happened, so. And then the last one is one that, again, another one that I started it, and, how many pages is that one? Let's see. Did I tell you? This is about the devil's number. So this one really isn't that long. It's 600. It's 660 pages. So it's really not that long, actually. It's just, you know, the problem is these kinds of books, I can't read while I'm in bed, because I will fall asleep and not be able to concentrate. And I cannot read, like, during, you know, and I can't always read books like this during car rides and stuff, because, of course, the holiday season is coming up. We'll be here before you know it, and then I think I'm going to be taking a trip to visit my sister again soon, so, and of course, if it's just me and my mom, she'll want to listen to Dr. Laura at some point, and that makes me cranky, because I can't stand that bitch. She's very judgmental. So, yeah, so I need to start this. I want to get back into that one as well. Okay, so the last one is one that I already have. This is another actually a little bit over 1,000 pages. This is the one where I had a mass market copy of it, and then I decided I wanted to buy the regular size paperback. And I tried to get it off thrift books, but I was trying to wait until the end of the month, going into September, because that way, now of course by the time you guys see this, it will already be September, but as I'm filming it, it's still August, and when I was trying to place the order, it was still August, so I was trying to wait, and unfortunately, despite the fact that this one, I think, had more than one available, which I'll have to check that out later today, because I have another book that I wanted to get that it only had one available of that particular edition. So I got really upset when it sold out. I was very mad, and unfortunately, because my room is right beside the kitchen, my mom can hear me when I vocalize my feelings of frustration. So I ended up not getting in because she was annoyed at how because she was frustrated too with how I was, how upset I was about this. She was like, finally she said, okay, let's order this book on Amazon, so we did, and I got a regular size paperback. I was still kind of nervous because part of me was worried, what if I got the mass market again? And actually I did put in, when at the Roast Office bookshop, if you're looking for a particular book that they have had before, you can leave them a little note. And the woman, and Lisa, who runs the bookshop, was, she said she recalled seeing the book recently, and then by the time I got there, we couldn't find it, and it turns out that it was probably already sold right after she walked away from seeing it. So she gave me one of those little piece of paper where I could write a note, and then I was thinking when I got home, I was like, I should just buy it myself, because either at the bookstore somewhere, because it's not going to be, there's like a 50-50 chance that I'll come across, and even then it might be, even though I did mark paperback, it could still potentially, it might be a mass market. So, although I was surprised that my mom was like, yeah, you should just order it online, because I was like telling her that it was a slim chance of getting it, of it showing up there. I mean, maybe it would, maybe it wouldn't, and of course watch it show up there. And she was like, even if it does, you can just don't take it. And I also, expressed my worries that I was worried it wouldn't be that, that it might not be the version of it that I want. Like, it might not be the regular size paperback. It might be a mass market. So long story short, I ended up getting it off of Amazon, and it came yesterday. And that is Jonathan Strange and Mr. Narelle by Suzanna Clark. This is her first book. I have not read Piranesi yet, but I have thought about it. I have thought about reading it, because so far I remember liking what I read of this book. And that one is shorter than this one. But I'm probably going to just wait until that one comes out in paperback. So, it came, like I said, came in, although part of me kind of wanted the red cover, the one that's the red cover, or the one that has the trees and stuff, and it's outdoors. That one was nice too. And then there was the TV tie-in edition, which I think one of the actors from the miniseries or TV show version of it, he was in Gallivant. I think he was, I can't remember which one, I want to say he was the necromancer guy, or he was the guy who, I can't remember his name, the Jew guy, the evil sorcerer. I don't remember, but I believe one of them was the guy, one of the characters from the TV show version of this was in Gallivant. I just don't remember which character he was. So, it says over 4 million copies sold. So this takes place also during the, I think, Napoleon's time as well, which I have 3 books that take place during Napoleon. This is this is the UK. I have the Russian, from the Russian perspective, and then I have the French perspective, which is, that's Count of Monte Cristo, which I'm currently listening to an audiobook because I have not picked up the book. So I was like, you know what, I'm just going to get this off the audiobook, so I did, and I've been listening to it. It's still going to be weird when I finally finish it, but, yeah, so, but it's the idea of, what if magic was real? What if there were magicians and sorcerers in the world, and you have this older magician, which is Mr. Narelle. He's been around for a long time. He goes by more traditional approaches to magic, but then there's a younger up-and-comer magician, Jonathan Strange. And I believe they come together eventually, but they also clash as well. Their, like, ideas of magic and stuff. And because, like I said, Mr. Narelle is more traditional, and we also have fairies in this as well, if I'm remembering correctly. So, yeah, I wanted to, and this always happens whenever I get a new book. All of a sudden, I'm like, I want to pick that up one right now and start reading it now. Yeah, I'm glad that I have this size copy. Oh, Ladies of Grace and Dew. It's another book, so it's not her first book. I think, unless she wrote that one. Oh, no, this is her debut, so I guess maybe in between Piranesi and, this one, she wrote Ladies of Grace and Dew. And apparently that one doesn't. I guess that one didn't do as well, because I don't remember hearing about that one. But, this one also has illustrations. Oh, she dedicated the book to her brother. Which, he died in 2000. And he was born in 1961. Oh, that's sweet. I don't know what year this one came out, though. Oh, okay, so not only a few years after her brother's passing, this one came out, so she was probably working on this for a long time. But yeah, that's what she dedicated this to him. Okay, so those are my top 7 biggest books on my TBR. What are your biggest books on your TBR? And feel free to share in the comments below. Okay, so if you guys like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, click subscribe if you haven't already, click the bell notification below if you want to be notified when I post new videos. I hope you are staying safe and healthy, and enjoying your reading. Bye!